Welcome to Sleep Story Animal. Tonight we begin a very special journey, a gentle voyage into the ancient world, exploring how early civilizations saw dolphins. If this video brings you peace, please press like so this calm energy can reach more people. And please comment to let me know. Where are you listening from? And what time is it for you right now? Somewhere out there, someone else may be listening at the exact same moment. And the two of you are sharing this quiet, peaceful slice of the night together. Now, relax. If possible, turn off the lights, lie down, close your eyes, and wrap yourself warmly in your blanket. Let your body sink into softness. Let your shoulders loosen, your face soften, your breath slow down. Inhale gently and exhale slowly. Tonight, we open an ancient book, a book worn by time, its pages yellowed, its ink fading like old memories soaked in the scent of the sea. In the dim glow of moonlight, our story begins. Imagine standing on an ancient shoreline. No electricity, no engines, only the sea, the wind, and the silver ribbon of moonlight stretching across the water. Waves roll in, calm, steady, like the heartbeat of the earth itself. Far out there, the open ocean spreads endlessly into the night. And then, you see them, soft shapes gliding beneath the water. A gentle sound, foom, foom, rising from the darkness and fading into the air. The sound of dolphins breathing. Thousands of years ago, humans heard this same sound and believed dolphins were more than animals. They were spirits of the sea, friends of the gods, messengers between worlds. But why? Why did so many ancient civilizations, Greek, Roman, Polynesian, hold dolphins in such wonder and reverence? To understand, we must travel back to lost kingdoms, burning torches along the harbors, temples dedicated to sea gods, and myths that survived centuries of waves and wind. Before we meet Arion, Poseidon, or Dionysus, before we enter the heart of Greek mythology, let your mind grow soft and loose. Imagine walking across marble stones of an ancient Greek city. Oil lamps flicker against white walls. The air carries the scent of salt and wind, the scent of a world where humans and the sea lived side by side. The Greeks believed dolphins were gifts from the gods, symbols of nobility, friendship, love, and extraordinary intelligence. In the next chapter, the next part of this long night's journey, we will open the first pages of Greek legend. We will meet Arion, the musician saved by dolphins. We will follow the strange tale of Dionysus turning pirates into dolphins. We will see how philosophers believed dolphins possessed souls, feelings, and wisdom. But for now, let your breath soften again. Inhale slowly. Exhale gently. The night ocean unfolds before you. The story is waiting. And we are ready to turn the first ancient page. After stepping through the doorway of ancient Greece, you enter a world washed in white marble, deep blue skies, and sunlight dancing on the sea. A world where stories of the ocean were not just tales, but pieces of the Greek soul. And among those stories, one shines, above all, the story of Arion, the great musician, and the miraculous dolphins who saved his life. Let your breath soften. Inhale gently, exhale slowly, and turn the next ancient page. Long ago, in the city of Corinth, there lived a musician known across all of Greece. His name was Arion, master of the kithara, an ancient Greek string instrument. His music was said to be so beautiful that even the sea breeze paused to listen. After winning a grand music competition in Sicily, Arion set sail home, carrying a large reward, and that journey home would become the heart of a legend told for thousands of years. Orion boarded a merchant ship. At first, the voyage was peaceful. He played gentle melodies on the deck, and even the sailors felt lighter while listening. But greed grew in their hearts. Seeing Arion's wealth, the sailors decided to steal everything and kill him. One moonlit night, they surrounded him. "Orion, jump into the sea, or die by our hands." Faced with death, Orion made one last request. "Let me play a final song. My last song in this world." Surprisingly, they agreed. Under the silver moon, Orion, dressed in his finest robe, lifted his kithara and played. Soft notes drifted over the dark sea, gentle as morning mist, clear as spring water, deep as the ocean's heart. And then, something extraordinary happened. Shapes appeared beneath the surface. One, then two, then an entire group of dolphins circling the ship, drawn by the music. They clicked softly, almost as if singing along. The Greeks believed dolphins loved music, and in Arion's melody, they heard the voice of the sea. When the last note faded, Arion lowered his kithara and jumped. But beneath the water, a dolphin was waiting for him. The dolphin lifted Arion onto its back, gliding swiftly across the moonlit sea. Waves broke gently around them. The night shimmered like a dream. Greeks believed Poseidon sent his dolphins to protect Arion. Whether divine power or natural kindness, Arion survived, carried home by the guardians of the ocean. Orion told King Periander everything. When the sailors arrived and lied that Orion had died at sea, Orion stepped forward, alive, in his performance robe. The truth stunned them. Their lies collapsed like fragile sand. The story spread across Greece. Orion became the musician of the sea. Dolphins were forever honored as symbols of loyalty, compassion, and wonder. Even now, on quiet nights along the Aegean shore, people say you can hear Arion's music, blending with the calls of distant dolphins. In the oldest pages of Greek history, when people still looked upon the sea with awe and fear, it was believed that every wave, every gust of wind, every echo rising from the ocean's depths was the breath of Poseidon, the god who ruled the waters. Poseidon was often portrayed as powerful, storm-like, sometimes bursting with restless fury. Yet within his vast, shifting realm, one creature embodied his gentlest nature, the dolphin. The ancient Greeks believed dolphins were not only intelligent, but served as messengers between the sea and the land. When a pod of dolphins swam near a ship, sailors believed Poseidon was watching over them, shielding them from storms and shipwrecks. Some even said dolphins understood Poseidon's will better than any other being. On many ancient carvings and pottery, Poseidon is depicted riding a chariot of seashells, drawn not by monsters or mighty beasts, but by dolphins, not for strength, but for their loyalty and wisdom. They were the only creatures who could navigate wild waters without ever losing their way. And to understand why Poseidon chose the dolphin as his messenger, we must enter a story both gentle and deeply human, a story the Greeks called the friendship between God and sea. The ancient Greeks believed that long before humans walked the earth, the sea was a place of wild chaos. Waves rose like mountains, winds twisted into roaring spirals, and sea creatures battled fiercely in the deep. Even Poseidon, mighty as he was, found the ocean vast, unpredictable, difficult to tame. He needed eyes that could see clearly, a heart that could feel, a creature that could move through every shadowed corner of the sea without spreading fear or destruction. One quiet night, when the water lay still as polished glass, Poseidon noticed a small creature gliding gracefully through the dark waves. It had no sharp teeth, no spines, nothing fierce about it. Yet it swam with a calm confidence, as if the sea gently parted for its passage. Poseidon watched closely, and the more he looked, the more he realized this creature carried something no other being possessed: joy. The little dolphin leaped from the water, spinning softly in the moonlight as though greeting a long-awaited friend. And for the first time in ages, Poseidon smiled. "Are you not afraid of me?" the god asked, his voice echoing like distant thunder. The dolphin only tilted its head, inching closer, as if to say that nothing is frightening when a heart is pure. Poseidon sent a surge of water toward it, testing its courage. But instead of fleeing, the dolphin followed the swell, twisting playfully as if dancing with the waves. And then Poseidon understood. This is the balance I seek, a creature that chooses harmony over destruction. From that day forward, the dolphin became his companion. They swam before Poseidon's seashell chariot, guiding him through distant waters. They listened to the shifting moods of the ocean, sensed its rhythms, understood corners of the sea even gods seldom visited. In time, Poseidon gifted them with something precious: the ability to sense life. Dolphins could know when storms were forming, when danger grew near, when a ship was in peril. And that was how they became messengers, carrying the gentlest intentions of the god of the sea. From the day Poseidon gifted dolphins the ability to sense life, the ocean seemed gentler, more watchful. The ancient Greeks believed that wherever danger arose, whenever humans faced the cold darkness of the deep, dolphins were the first to appear. One summer afternoon, the sky suddenly darkened. A group of sailors was caught in a violent storm. Their small vessel capsized, and they were cast into swirling, icy water. No one could see the shore. No one knew if they would survive the night. But beneath the shimmering waves, the dolphins had already felt the faint heartbeats of the drowning men. They darted forward, breaking the surface with swift leaps, each one heading straight toward the struggling sailors. Some dolphins lifted the weary men onto their backs. Others surfaced beside them, calling softly as if offering comfort. A few formed a protective circle, a living wall that shielded them from the spinning currents. The Greeks believed that in that moment, Poseidon whispered into the dolphins' ears, "Guide them back to the light." And so, the dolphins, strong yet gentle, began to carry each sailor toward the distant shore. Every glide cut through the storm. Every flick of their tails opened a pathway through the restless sea. When the last exhausted sailor finally touched the sand, he turned back only to see the dolphins already swimming away, disappearing beneath a warm red sunset, as if they had never needed thanks at all. From that day on, across Greek harbors, people would say, "Where dolphins appear, there lies the protection of Poseidon," and the tales of their rescues traveled from sailor to sailor for generations. Among all stories of dolphins and Poseidon, the Greeks cherished one most of all, a story not of storms nor danger, but of love. Although Poseidon ruled the vast oceans, he carried within him a loneliness born from dwelling too long in the deep. One day he saw Amphitrite, a gentle sea nymph, daughter of Nereus. She was as lovely as a wave touching shore, soft and shimmering. Poseidon fell in love at once, but Amphitrite, shy and delicate, feared the god's mighty power. She fled and hid herself in a distant underwater cave. Poseidon grieved deeply. He could not force her, nor could he reach her secret refuge. Only one creature knew the hidden pathways of the deep, and only one creature Amphitrite would never fear: the dolphins. Poseidon called them, not with command, but with a quiet plea. Find her, and tell her, my heart does not carry storms. And the dolphins set off immediately. They swam through narrow stone passages, through cold, shadowed waters, into places even light dared not reach. When they found Amphitrite, they spoke not with words, but with graceful spins, soft whistles, and gentle circles, the language of the sea. They led her slowly out of fear, guiding her to where Poseidon waited, not on a throne of storms, but on a soft sandbank under the pale glow of dawn. When Amphitrite saw Poseidon's rare, gentle smile, her heart softened, and she agreed. Their divine wedding was held upon the sea itself. Dolphins circled the couple, lifting arcs of silver water into the air, like the ocean's own celebration. From that day on, Poseidon granted dolphins an eternal blessing. You shall forever be symbols of peace, of love, and of the sea that embraces humankind. And so the Greeks believed. Whenever a dolphin leaps above the waves, it is a sign that joy is spreading across the waters. Let your body sink a little deeper, your breath slow, soft. And now, we continue with one of the gentlest yet most magical tales of the ancient world. A story touched by wine, seawater, and a quiet miracle that gave birth to the very first dolphins of Greek legend. Long ago, when the Aegean Sea shimmered like an unpolished emerald, Dionysus wandered along the shore in the form of a young man. His hair fell like soft grapevines, and his eyes glowed with a faint purple shine. A ship of Tyrrhenian pirates spotted him alone and silently approached. They believed he was just a distracted youth, an easy prize to capture and ransom. They pulled him aboard, but the moment sunlight touched his face, the pirates felt something unsettling, a mixture of familiarity and fear. The captain snarled, "He's just a boy, tie him." They did not realize this boy was a god. As the ship cut across the waves, a cool sweetness, like ripe grapes, filled the air. Vine tendrils began sprouting from the mast, curling along ropes, blossoming with dark purple fruit in mere breaths. A pirate shouted, "This is sorcery." Foam rose around the ship's hull. Soft shapes glided under the water, moonlit bodies, smooth and playful. Dolphins, dozens of them. Dionysus simply smiled. "I asked for freedom, but you would not listen." A gentle sound like wind passing through a wine glass echoed across the deck. Light pooled around Dionysus, growing brighter, warmer, until his divine form appeared in full. The crown of grape leaves, skin glowing like fermenting wine, eyes sparkling with ancient knowledge. The pirates panicked. Oars turned into great branches. Winds changed direction. Waves rose to protect the god. Terrified, the pirates leapt into the sea. At the very moment their bodies touched the water, something tender happened. Their limbs shrank, their arms softened into fins, their skin turned silver grey like morning mist on the sea. They became dolphin-swift, intelligent, joyful creatures carrying a fragment of their past lives, not a cruel curse, but a rebirth. Dionysus whispered to the sea, "Let them be free. Let them be friends to humans and to me." And so, in Greek mythology, dolphins became cheerful being souls who once strayed, but were given a chance to live anew in the wide, forgiving ocean. A gentle redemption. Let the waves carry you, now, as your breath softens. Imagine the night sea opening before you come, spacious, with silhouettes of dolphins gliding beneath moonlit water. The waves, slowing, rocking you like an old lullaby, and the ancient story drifts on, just like the tide. Stay still. Let the blanket rest on you like a calm wave closing over the shore. Now we drift into a deeper layer. The ancient religious rituals, where dolphins were not merely animals of the sea, but sacred symbols of protection, purification, and wisdom. Dolphins in ancient Greek rituals. In the world of Greek mythology, dolphins were seen as messengers of the gods, guardians of sailors, and gentle guides of the soul. At seaside temples, especially those dedicated to Poseidon or Apollo artists, carved dolphins curling among waves on stones and pillars. They appeared on pottery, friezes, and ceremonial items, reminders that the sea was not empty, but watched over by kind companions. The Greeks sometimes performed a ritual of seawater offering, pouring seawater onto stones engraved with dolphins, praying for safety before voyages. Sailors believed, where dolphins appear, the gods are watching. Dolphins were considered symbols of peaceful death and gentle rebirth. Many ancient texts describe dolphins guiding souls across the night sea to a calm, distant shore. In funerary art, dolphins often appear as a quiet blessing. Guide this soul safely onward, not frightening, but soothing, like a lullaby guiding someone into restful sleep. Although dolphins were not as central as crocodiles or the sacred Apis bull, some Egyptian carvings depict dolphins as signs of wisdom and kindness of the waters. A few myths portray dolphins swimming beside Ra's solar boat as it crossed the midnight ocean, silent escorts guarding the light of tomorrow. For the Phoenicians, masters of the sea dolphins symbolized good fortune in trade. On ancient Phoenician coins, dolphins appear beside the god Melkart, protectors of merchants traveling far across the Mediterranean. Among the Minoans of Crete, dolphins are iconic images in the palace of Knossos. Researchers believe they were part of a ritual honoring the sea, where dolphins served as intermediaries between humans and the deep-water deities. Across cultures, one theme remains soft and constant. Dolphins bring protection. Dolphins symbolize light, joy, and guidance. Dolphins embody hope. As you listen now, you may feel that same calmness, the way dolphins gently glide beneath the surface at night, bringing peace without needing a single sound. Your breathing slows, letting this ancient imagery become a quiet ritual of sleep, guiding you toward deeper rest. Take a slow breath. Let your body sink just a little deeper. Inhale softly, exhale slowly. And now, we will drift away from Greek mythology, gliding into another world. The Roman Empire, where dolphins carried a quieter, sacred, symbolic role. In this peaceful night, the ancient Roman tales will open like a gentle breeze sweeping across the water. To the ancient Romans, dolphins were more than friendly creatures of the sea. They held a deeper, peaceful meaning. Dolphins were psychopomps, the guides of souls. The Romans believed that when a person left the mortal world, their spirit had to cross a night sea before reaching a peaceful realm. And dolphins, swift, intelligent, always near passing ships, were seen as the gentle escorts for that final journey. Unlike the somber ferryman Corin, who carried souls across the river Styx, the Roman dolphin symbolized a warm, gentle passage, one without pain. That's why in many Roman tombs, you can find carvings of dolphins swimming beside boats, anchors, or the figure of a soul drifting toward the light. It was a quiet blessing. May this person be carried by the friends of the sea, a tender image, like an embrace from the ocean itself. Among all Roman tales of dolphins, the story from Pazuello is the most famous and the most beautiful, a true account recorded by Pliny the Elder. Imagine yourself standing on a Roman afternoon, the sun gently touching the blue sea. and the harbor of Pozzuoli alive with the sounds of daily life. There lived a young boy. Every day, he walked along the shoreline on his way to school. He would stop by the water and call out a simple name, one that made the villagers smile. Simo, and from the water, a large dolphin would rise, its bright eyes warm and soft, almost smiling. It began so simply. One day, the boy brought a bit of food, and the dolphin came close. The boy stroked its smooth skin, and from that moment, Simo never forgot him. Each morning, Simo waited for the boy to arrive. The boy would climb onto the dolphin's back, and Simo would carry him across a small stretch of sea to school, as a companion, not a creature. The locals cherished this unusual friendship, and no one ever harmed the dolphin. But one morning, Simo surfaced, and the boy never came. He had fallen gravely ill and passed away. No one knew how to tell Simo, so the dolphin continued to come, day after day, circling the shore in silent hope. The Romans said that eventually, Simo grew weak with grief and died near the very place where the boy once stood waiting. The villagers buried the dolphin beside the boy. Two friends, reunited even beyond death. The story traveled across the Roman Empire, becoming a symbol of pure friendship, loyalty, and a reminder that dolphins carry a warmth deeper than humans ever imagined. If you were to step into an ancient Roman villa, beneath the cool stone floors, you would see countless mosaics depicting familiar themes: dolphins curling around anchors, dolphins guiding ships, dolphins swimming alongside sea gods, dolphins supporting Cupid or Psyche, dolphins woven into wreaths, symbols of victory. These mosaics were not merely decorative, they were quiet prayers. May the journey of the home's master always be safe. For the Romans, the sea was not only a source of life, but also a passage between lands, between life and death, between the present and eternity, and the dolphin, the wise friend of the ocean, was seen as a sign of a gentle, calm voyage, free of storms. Wealthy Romans often included dolphin mosaics in public baths, water basins, banquet halls, entrance halls, even bedrooms. This was no coincidence. They believed dolphins brought luck, healing, joy, guidance, and a connection between humans and the divine. Just as tonight, the dolphins guide you into a deep, peaceful sleep. In Roman funeral rituals, dolphins became symbols of gentle escort. They were carved on tombstones as blessings for the soul. May a friend accompany you on your journey to the next world. Many scholars believe this idea was influenced by Greek culture, but the Romans transformed it into their own symbol, a symbol of comfort. No violent death, no frightening darkness, only the sea, and a dolphin slowly guiding the way. That image is soft, soothing, and perfectly suited for tonight. And now, we will drift away from the Mediterranean, gliding across the distant oceans of Polynesia, where the waves sing lullabies day and night, and where the stories of dolphins are told like the whispered words of sea gods. In Polynesian mythology, there is a deity revered across the island Tagoloa, the god of the sea, master of all creatures beneath the ocean. Tagola was not only a powerful god, but also an observer, a guardian of humans, especially those who made their lives from the sea. He saw the dangers that threatened fishermen, those who ventured out into the waves, facing storms and tempests. And to protect them, Tagoloa created dolphins, gentle yet intelligent, swift and loyal companions to humankind. In Polynesian mythology, dolphins were more than ordinary sea creatures. They were messengers of the gods, tireless protectors, swimming through the waves, to watch over and guide those in peril. They were a bridge between nature and humans, between the divine and everyday life. One of the most famous stories tells of a young fisherman on the island of Samoa. He set out at dawn, when the sun first cast its gentle light across the water. It was his first voyage alone, with only a small boat and a few nets. But the ocean is not always gentle. Suddenly, a storm arose, winds howled, waves raged, and heavy rain fell. The tiny boat seemed like a leaf lost in the vast sea. The fisherman was desperate, unsure what to cling to, feeling as if he would be swallowed by the ocean's fury. Then, from the white-capped waves appeared a pod of dolphins. They swam around the boat, leaping through the water like speaking waves, calming the wrath of the sea. One large dolphin, with eyes shining like stars, came close to him. It gently nudged the boat, as if to reassure him. "Do not fear, we will guide you." The fisherman clung tightly to the boat, his heart racing, yet his mind filled with a newfound calm. The pod led him through the tumultuous waters, weaving around towering waves, until the shore finally appeared before him. He stepped onto the sand, his heart still pounding, but knowing that thanks to the miraculous creatures of Tagaloa, he had been saved. The islanders say that since then, anyone who sees dolphins leaping across the waves believes it is a sign of protection and good fortune from the sea god. But dolphins were more than protectors. They were also teachers of the sea. According to Polynesian legend, dolphins taught humans how to observe and understand the currents, how to navigate the open waters. They taught fishermen to read the signs of the waves, to listen to the wind, and to move safely across the vast ocean. Some stories say that those who learned the lessons of the dolphins became skilled captains, able to cross turbulent waters safely. Boys and men who were lucky enough to see dolphins guiding them would learn patience, keen awareness, and respect for the sea lessons that Tagola wished to pass on through these loyal creatures. Dolphins did not only teach technical skills, they also taught respect, gratitude, and harmony with nature. A morning spent watching dolphins glide across the waves reminded fishermen that the sea was not just to be exploited, but to be listened to, studied, and lived with in harmony. Across the islands, countless, gentle yet profound stories are told. A boy lost in the coral reef and swept into deep waters was surrounded and protected by dolphins until a rescue boat arrived. An elderly man, rising early to the shore, saw dolphins leaping joyfully and felt renewed, regaining strength after illness. A group of fishermen preparing to sail witnessed dolphins appearing as a sign of safety, sensing the breath of the sea god in every wave. These stories passed down through generations, reminding people that dolphins are creatures of love, wisdom, and protection. Stories of dolphins in Polynesian mythology are not just entertainment. They remind humans of a deep bond with the ocean, a bond essential to life on the islands. Dolphins symbolize protection, always appearing when humans are in danger. Guidance, teaching how to read the sea and navigate safely. Wisdom, imparting subtle lessons of living in harmony with nature. Loyalty, never abandoning those they protect. And above all, they are soft, gentle beings, perfect for a lullaby story, helping you feel the peace of the ocean, each wave, each breath, each heartbeat of the sea. We leave Polynesia behind, drifting gently northwest, toward those ancient civilizations where humans once watched the ocean and carved the image of its wondrous creatures into their stories and beliefs. In this quiet night, let us step across the waters of the Nile, the Tigris, the Euphrates, and the faraway coasts of Africa, where dolphins, though rarely mentioned, still linger in the human mind, carrying messages of life, rebirth, and the connection between worlds. In ancient Egypt, dolphins rarely appeared in official myths of the gods, but in certain paintings, tomb carvings, and scattered writings, they were seen as symbols of the flow of life, of rebirth, and of the soul's passage through darkness. Egyptians observed the Nile, and on rare occasions, dolphins swimming in its waters, and they associated these gentle, drifting creatures with the cycle of life and death, the endless rhythm of nature. Dolphins were seen as bridges between life and death, guiding souls softly, helping humans sense the unbroken current of the universe. In whispered tales shared by temple monks along the Nile, dolphins appeared as small guardian spirits, carrying the hope that life would always return, no matter how deep the darkness became. Arriving in Mesopotamia, the land between the Tigris and Euphrates, dolphins took on a very different meaning. In clay tablets, carvings, and riverside stories, dolphins were seen as beings who lived between two worlds: the land where humans dwell, the water where spirits and gods reside. The Mesopotamians believed that dolphins could travel between these realms, carrying messages, guiding wandering souls, and sometimes delivering warnings from the divine. Some stories tell of dolphins saving fishermen from violent floods and swirling currents, bringing them safely back to shore, a reminder of the ocean's protective, yet mysterious power. Along the west and east coasts of Africa, many coastal tribes say that dolphins are messengers of the sea. They are not only friends of humans, but also envoys between the ocean and the people, bringing news from distant waters, from unseen islands, and from the spirits who rule the tides. People believe that when dolphins swim near their boats, it is a sign that an important message is coming, or that something significant is happening far out at sea. Some stories tell of dolphins guiding fishermen lost in storms, or warning them to avoid dangerous waters, like silent guardians of the ocean. Over centuries, dolphins became part of spiritual life and culture, symbols of intelligence, loyalty, and the deep bond between humans and the sea. Though these civilizations seldom mentioned them, from Egypt to Mesopotamia, from the African coasts, dolphins still carried shared meanings, spiritual guides, protecting souls and helping humans through difficulties, bridges between worlds, linking humans, gods, life, and death, symbols of wisdom, teaching people to observe, listen, and understand the ocean with their gentle shapes and their playful leaps among the waves. Dolphins continue to be the soft music of the sea, reminding us of peace, connection, and the hope that never fades. When we look back at all the stories from Greece, Rome, Polynesia, Egypt, Mesopotamia, and Africa, we can easily recognize one thing. Across every shore, ancient humans held a special love for dolphins. But why was that? In these final minutes of our journey tonight, let us listen to the reasons that made dolphins beloved for thousands of years. Even before science existed, ancient people sensed the intelligence of dolphins. They saw how dolphins coordinated with each other, how they communicated through sound, how they guided, how they helped. They witnessed a kind of wisdom rarely found in any other creature of the sea. And so, through the centuries, dolphins came to symbolize intelligence, understanding, the ability to learn, and the clarity of the ocean's wisdom. Unlike many distant sea creatures, dolphins would approach boats on their own, swimming alongside, leaping above the surface as if to greet the sailors. To ancient people, this was nothing short of miraculous. a sea creature that did not fear humans, did not harm them, but wanted to connect. This friendliness became a symbol of friendship, kindness, trust, and harmony between humans and nature. From the Mediterranean to the islands of Polynesia, people told countless stories of dolphins rescuing humans, pulling fishermen from the waves, guiding boats through storms, protecting children swept offshore, saving those threatened by predators. These stories spread from one boat to another, from village to village, and eventually became legend. Dolphins were seen as guardians, benefactors, protectors, angels of the sea. When ancient people looked at a dolphin's face, they noticed something wonderfully strange. It appeared to be smiling. That smile made dolphins seem gentle, warm, like a cheerful friend who always carried lightness with them. No other creature of the sea brought such comfort. No other creature eased the fear of the ocean, with nothing more than a natural smile. In countless stories, ancient people said dolphins could sense sadness, fear, joy, and the longing within a human heart. They approached when people were anxious. They played when people were joyful. They seemed like beings who could listen, who could understand. And so, in the ancient mind, dolphins became close companions, creatures who understood the human spirit, a bridge between people and the ocean. Though time has changed, though ancient civilizations have faded into the past, the love humanity holds for dolphins still remains, because dolphins are more than creatures of the sea. They are symbols of wisdom, protection, compassion, joy, and the deep connection between humans and the vast world around them. A being that dances in the waves, smiles at humans, and brings peace to our hearts, just like the ocean itself in this quiet night. Throughout our journey, we have traveled across distant seas of history and mythology. We encountered the Greek gods who sent dolphins to rescue humans in moments of danger. The Roman souls who believed dolphins guided them toward peaceful realms. The Polynesian people who believed dolphins were created by the god Tegaloa to protect humans and teach them the ways of the ocean. And many other cultures, from ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, to coastal African tribes, each giving dolphins a special role, even if they appeared only briefly, like a quiet passing guest. Looking back at all of this, we realize something truly beautiful. Across thousands of years, no matter the culture, dolphins have always been seen as creatures of light. Not a blinding light, but a gentle one, like moonlight resting on the surface of the sea. A light soft enough to soothe, bright enough to guide. A light that reminds us that in this vast and sometimes chaotic world, there are still beings who exist simply to bring peace. Perhaps it is their unusual intelligence. Perhaps it is the way their faces always seem to hold a gentle smile. Or perhaps it's the way they swim alongside a ship, as if whispering, "You are not alone on this ocean." As you relax your body and listen to the waves fading into the night, imagine somewhere out there in the deep water, a pod of dolphins is still gliding gracefully, effortlessly. They turn back for a moment, as if sending you a final greeting before disappearing into the soft darkness beneath the sea. Tonight, you don't need to carry any worries with you. Let the ancient stories and the gentle dolphins hold them for you. Let them guide you, slowly, softly, into a space where your mind can rest, where your body is allowed to let go completely, and where sleep comes naturally, like waves touching the shore. I wish you a peaceful night. May the waves wrap around you with the ocean's tenderness, and may the dolphins, those creatures of light, guide you into a night that is deep, soft, and wonderfully calm. Sleep well, and I'll meet you again when the waves whisper their next story.